live Q&A. So they'll be waiting now to see when people start coming along. And we've got one person. Hello, hello, welcome. Let me see if I can see all the messages. Let me have a look. Yes, I think everything is working. So if you can hear me, please say hello. Please say hello, noble one. Say whatever you like. And say ciao, basta, perhaps. C Kenso77, hello, Jolol 465. Hello to you and welcome. Welcome everybody. What's up, Raf? Not much, Jet. You know how it is. Just been playing a lot of video games lately because, of course, we're just stuck home and been doing that. And I've been doing some training a little bit. I think the light behind my head is not an excellent idea, perhaps. Yeah, I think I'm going to Dien Dobry. I have no idea how to pronounce it, but hey, check. Great. I think I know how to say Zmrzlina. I think that's like ice cream, I believe. It took me like a month to learn how to pronounce that word. Let me try and turn off the light. Let's see what happens. Yeah, okay, that looks good to me. I think we're gonna do that. And hello everyone. Hello to the Metatron streaming. Today we're going to have a lot of fun. Ciao, Giordano Fanti. Fanti, it's a pretty nice surname actually. It's like infantrymen. That's a pretty cool. Some Italian surnames are really. I really don't know. I really don't know. I've got a friend, and he's a cool guy. Absolutely, I'm not trying to make fun of him or anything, but his surname is Salta Formaggio, so it means like cheese jumper. Who the heck? Who the heck came up with that name? Why did they give him that name is a real question. It'd be interesting to look at do a little bit of genealogy there, perhaps, and trying to understand what the heck happened there. But yeah, you know how it is. Hoi, hey man, bonjour, Emperor du Congo. Are you really from Congo? Hello, everyone. Hello, have you been? I'm being very well. Thank you for asking. Your dank camera. Yeah, indeed. Yeah, indeed. Dank. I used that adjective a while ago, actually. Have you seen the new For Honor hero? I have. You mean Griffin? I think it's his name. I don't know. I'm not a huge. You can tell by the fact that I haven't made a video about it. I don't know. I'm not a huge fan. I don't know why. I mean, it's. You know what it is with For Honor? I enjoyed that game, but right now I'm not really playing it much anymore because that hero, for example, it's a freaking mismatch. It's a bit Greek, a bit samurai, a bit knight. It's like everything put together. I'm not a huge fan of Griffin. I haven't played with it. I might try, and perhaps I'll like it. But we'll see. When someone is a noble one in Metatron lore, I'll make a video about it. How about that? I'll make a video. Why do I call you noble ones? I'll do that. I'll keep it for that video. Salve, salve. Salute. Grande ti stimo. Grazie, Andre Tesla. It's a nice car. Hello from Argentina. Buenos dias. I don't know. Buenas tardes. What time is it? I have no idea what the time is in South America. Hello from Cyprus and Turkey. Nice. So you're like Padre Pio. You can be in two places at the same time. I'm joking. Greetings from the Nine Divine. Hey, that's a good one. When's the promised documentary in the history of sugar and its adoption in Europe? Ah, yeah, that's right. I did say that, didn't I? Yeah, well, I'll consider it. I should make one about salt. I mean, Lindbergh made one about salt, so I should make one about sugar. Sugar. Hello. We've got people from Germany. Nice armor. Yeah, I enjoy wearing these because they're shiny, and I like shiny things. So I like wearing them just as a jacket. This is mine to-go jacket. I have a question. How far back to your knowledge is there traces of psychedelic use in history? I have no idea. On green planet Earth, I have to be honest. No idea, but let me know. My name is Cheese Jump. I know. Someone wrote in Chinese, ni hao, ni hao. They said hello. It's interesting because actually hello in Chinese literally means you good. You good. Anyways, yeah, you good, mate. Hey, Metatron, how are you doing today? Yeah, I'm doing fantastically on this fine day. And lately I've been playing a lot of Cyberpunk 77. I love that game. I mean, I don't think I should make a video on the channel because it has nothing to do with the channel to be. Although I'll tell you, because I'm playing my character. No, maybe I should, because my character, I focused all my skills into the katana. So I'm basically a cyber ninja, ex Arasaka Corp, cyber ninja, and that's what I do. Like I mostly fight hand in hand. So they shoot at me, but I've got subdermal armor, so I don't care. I run towards them and slice them up. It's a great game. I love it. It's got some bugs, but it's great. Good evening to the best polymath on YouTube, but I appreciate there are others that I think are better than me, but thank you very much. Who's your favorite Roman emperor? Octavianus Augustus. Yeah, he's my favorite. He's a great one. How to speak Latin like a pro. You study it, and then you could join the community of Latin speakers. About 20,000 people that actually speak Latin. And that's in fact one thing that people sometimes misunderstand when they think of, they say, well, but Latin is a dead language, so you can't speak it. Well, a dead language doesn't mean, a dead language is a language that doesn't have native speakers, not a language that doesn't have speakers, full stop. So you can have speakers and still have a dead language. It's just that nobody's born into Latin, unfortunately. I might consider it with my child eventually in the future. If I ever have a son, I might teach him Latin, bring Latin back to life. That could be great. That would be fantastic. Not sure if my girlfriend would appreciate that idea, but hey. Anyways, I see there are some super chats, so I don't want to be disrespectful for the people that are donating. That, gosh, yeah, someone just donated. Thank you so much, by the way, for all the super chats. I really appreciate. Okay, I fished one. I found one. It's from Cole Allen, $5 US. Thank you so much, my friend. Would you do a video talking about the history and life of Landsknecht and condottieri? Okay, that's a very good one because I have studied a lot the condottieri for obvious reasons, and Landsknecht would be a good Landsknecht. I'll have to ask my German friend how to pronounce it. They are very interesting topics. Absolutely, yeah. I will. I'll have to find a way to make it work. Like, because one thing about my channel, I think, is sometimes people ask me, hey, I want to start a YouTube channel. I also want to do history. I want to do weapons and armor, militaria. And so they say, how can you be successful with a channel like that? And I think, for me at least, one of the most important things is that you need to be, of course, as accurate as possible, academic, but you gotta be fun and funny possibly. Because if you're boring, you can be the most academic person on the planet, and your information can be the best. Like, I know there are channels out there, and I could tell you a few, actually, I might during this stream. I will later on. There are a few channels out there that don't even reach 5,000 subscribers, and the sort of quality of information is way superior than mine, or even other channels perhaps in the community of the sword, and yet they don't get the subs. Why? Because they're too academic. Like sometimes, and you might think, but how can you be too academic? I mean, being academic is great because that's a pro. I agree, but YouTube is not university. So you need to entertain people. It's entertainment. People have power. You guys have power in your fingertips, which means your audience will have power. Will have the power to click away and watch something else if they don't find you entertaining. Which is why I often, people say I'm cringy, which is fine. It's okay. I am cringy sometimes, but at least, if I make you laugh a couple of times on a video and still get the information there and make sure that particularly the younger generation manages to follow the video having fun, and that's why I also use media like video games and stuff like that and the movies, then I'm fine being called cringy. I don't care, as long as it's fun for the people. That's one of the most important things. So I'll have to find a way to make the history of condottieri fun and funny also for people who are not complete history buffs, because mind you, I know that the core of my audience, and possibly the majority of the people here today, I know you are really much into history, and so whatever I do, you will watch it. But that when you work with masses, with higher numbers, then you need to make sure you also appeal to people who are not history buffs and they're just there because just want to be entertained and instructed at the same time. Thank you for the question. Gosh, a lot of questions. Hello, Metatron from Tennessee, USA. Hello, my girlfriend is from Tennessee. Where in Tennessee are you from? If I ever catch one of your comments again, hopefully. Hello. It's cool because they've got like the Parthenon, I think, like the Greek temple reproduced in Nashville, I believe, which is pretty cool. What what time zone are you in? Because in Italy it's pitch dark now. Well, it's 8, not pitch dark. Yeah, it's 10 past 8, but it's like dinner time, I suppose. Zucchero, zucchero. Hi Metatron. I've seen anyone talk about the history of training gear. Are there records of it? Yeah, there are, but of course it depends on what country you're talking about because each country has got different records and different training gear. I think in my video about Kendo, like the problems I had with Kendo. It's a video that got quite popular. In that video, excuse me, I speak a little bit about the history of Kendo training gear, for example, and how it started. Because most likely at first they did use some sort of bamboo-based protections, which is where the myth of samurai using bamboo armor probably came from. The samurai didn't use that, of course, because I mean, bamboo is not going to work very well against real weapons, weapons of war. And by the way, again, no disrespect to the people who are doing super chats. I will see your super chats. Just I might need a minute because yeah, I've been doing YouTube for a while, but I've never really got fully used to the streaming situations, and I hope that I can be entertaining today. Let's have a little bit. Let's have a drink. Before people ask, yes, I've got a Powerade over there as well. Do you do LARP? No, not really. I have. I have done it, but like maybe 3 times. I think if I found a really good LARP group, I might join it because it sounds fun. The only thing is that we don't really have many LARP groups here, and we'll see maybe in the future. Hello from Serbia. Hello. Hello. Lord of Pasta. Sei italiano, vero? Sì, sono italiano. Siciliano, di Palermo, da Palermo. Come vado a parlare, va? Come vado a parlare? Oh, yeah, my goodness, this is fun. Hey, Raf, can you make a video about sumo? Well, yeah, I could. Yeah, actually, that could be interesting to look at sumo from a, understanding why this tradition. We were speaking about sumo with my girlfriend actually the other day. She was asking me a little bit about it, so I told her a little bit about the history because sumo is big in Japan. I mean, not many young people want to practice sumo anymore for, I think, for obvious reasons. Everything has shifted, but it still is a big tradition. So yeah. Hey babe, super excited for your stream. Kenzie, hello Kenzie. So my girl is watching. Clean the camera on your phone. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. Let me see. Oh yeah. Oh, okay. Done. I think it should be better now. Thank you, Kenzie. Thank you. Another donation from Don Jane, $5. Thank you so much, Don. Have you played Assassin's Creed Valhalla yet? And do you like it or not? Also, your channel is awesome. AF. Cheers. Well, thank you. And I haven't played it, but I am going to. And of course, when I will, I'll make a video. I've already, of course, made a video on the trailer. The reason why I haven't played it is because I've been playing Cyberpunk 77 with my Cyber Ninja. But yeah, I will. I will. And also, I will get back into Ghost of Tsushima as well a bit more. Thank you. XUCA, $4.99. Thank you so much for your donation, my friend. When will you be uploading Cyberpunk 2077 gameplay to your gaming channel? Yeah, so my gaming channel is still not exactly live. It's still not. I will do it eventually. It just takes a bit of time to get used to it. But yeah, I'm also trying to see if I can upgrade my equipment and that sort of thing. So that kind of thing. How is your day? Asks Colton. It's been a wonderful day, my friend. Thank you. Damn it, Albert. How long did you spend learning English? It's very impressive. Why, thank you. And I had no idea you were Italian until you said it. Well, thank you very much for that. I appreciate. I learnt English in England, but that was a very long time ago, over 20 years ago, actually. So I was quite young when I moved to England, lived there for a couple of years. And that's where I sort of picked up my English, and I suppose you can tell. I mean, if I speak for very long with a Brit, they will they will see that they will understand usually that I'm not from the UK because I will say something weird or I will pronounce something weird or my intonation will go. Particularly when I joke. When I joke, my full Italian intonation comes back. When I speak about other things, it doesn't. It's kind of a mix. It's a mix, absolutely. But yeah, so that's that. Thank you. Metatron, I need your help. Well, there you go. Let's see if I can help Vito. Where do I research specific battles, like country specific? It's a big one because definitely not Wikipedia. Let me tell you that. Definitely not Wikipedia. Is this your first live? No, it's not, but it's been a while. It has been at least, what 5 months, maybe 6 months since I've had a live, and I'm considering going back to, periodic monthly lives. I think that could be a good, fun activity. And so, yeah, for the research of battles, I can't really think of a specific because I don't really. Oh, yeah, but there is a channel. So I don't know about Portuguese specific, but if you want to look at Japanese battles, for example, there is a channel that I meant to mention, and I will mention him on a proper video. But today, you guys that are watching here will get a mention of a few channels. And one channel that I think you should definitely check out is Japan at War. It's small, but the person that is the host, he's really knowledgeable, and he mostly focuses on battles. So if you want to have a look at Japanese battles, that channel is definitely for you. Highly recommended. So let's see. Let's see. We've got more questions. We've got a lot of questions. Here's another super chat. Thank you so much for being awesome. Very, very generous. I will put this money to good use. I can assure you. Some new armor, new weapons are coming. Some really incredible maces, bronze mace, brass mace, medieval, by the way. So I'll talk about these materials and these metals used in the Middle Ages as well. Because oftentimes when we think of bronze, we just think of a metal use, of it being a metal use during the Bronze Age, and that was that, but it's not the case. In fact, even some cannons were made of bronze because of the fact that bronze, differently from steel, doesn't get sparks, for example. So there are some advantages to bronze and brass, to copper alloys. You don't only have to think about the softness, relative softness of a metal as the only thing that matters, and I will make a dedicated video on that soon. I'm actually waiting for a parcel to arrive from the UK, from an incredible channel. In fact, the channel, the channel, it's uh, Todd's workshop. He sent me a mace, and once the mace comes here, I'll make a video, and it's gonna be great. It's gonna be. I might even actually interview him. I think I'll have him. I'll invite him over so we can both speak about it. Actually speak to the man that made the object and did the research. It's gonna be great, and perhaps I'll fill in some historical information as well. And I think it'll be a really good video, and it will be. I mean, the mace was supposed to arrive yesterday. It still hasn't arrived, I suppose, for COVID reasons, but it will happen soon. So if the mace arrives here on Monday, boom, the video will be out on Wednesday. We'll see. Thank you so much. And Miraj Raham Blake for £4.99. Thank you. Are you a Brit? Are you a Brit, mate? I'll be studying either Japanese or German, and Japanese at university. What tips can you offer for learning two languages simultaneously? Well, considering the fact that you're picking two languages that have nothing to do with each other, I think it's not going to be a problem. When I was at university, I had a double major. Well, yeah, double major. I did English and Japanese as major and Mandarin Chinese as minor. So I had to learn three languages at the same time, although, to be fair, I already spoke English quite fluently at the time. So that wasn't really a language I needed to study per se. Well, I needed to study the grammar because I could say things and I didn't know why, so I had to learn the rules, but I could already speak it, so that made it a lot easier. But when I had to learn Japanese and Chinese at the same time, it does help, in my opinion, it does always help to have native speakers of those languages. So you need to make friends with people, maybe use italki, because, if you just study on the book, you'll be great at doing that, using a book. But if you want to speak to people, you've got to speak to people. It sounds obvious, but it's not. A lot of people approach language learning the wrong way. They think that they study a book, they do translation, they read, and they expect to be able to speak. They're separate skills in our brains. So you need to practice what you want to do. If you practice translation, you'll be a great translator. That does not turn you into a good speaker of the language. So yeah, no, you shouldn't mix them up. I mean, if some of you, like, let's say you have an American who studies Italian and Portuguese or Italian and Spanish, you will mix them up. It will be a problem. But German and Japanese, I don't see any problem. Go for it. Andrea Massaro, €2. Grazie, ti offro un caffè, sei un grande. He's treating me with a coffee. Thank you so much, Andrea. I'm going to get that coffee tomorrow. How about that? Thank you so much. I appreciate. Fantastic, fantastic. This is going to be a really, really fun video. I smooched my brother, but I'm just saying the name of, I don't have any brothers. I'm just reading the name of a guy here, or girl, I don't know. What culture's architecture do you admire most? Roman. On to the next one. D, $5 Canadian. Thank you so much. Are you aware J. Stephen Roberts of the channel Real Crusade History, writing a historically accurate Crusades TV series, Knights of the Cross? I was not aware, so thank you very much for letting me know. I will check it out. Definitely will check it out. Hello from Palermo, Angelo. Ciao. We've got someone from Palermo here. Latin arrival. Yeah, I know. Hello from Ukraine. Hey, actually, I've just ordered a wonderful piece of armor from a armorer from Ukraine. You've got some really skilled craftsmen over there, and this is never stressed enough, I believe. Craftsman, craftsman, craftsman. You want to get armor? Craftsman. It's like, I don't know how much I have to stress that, but literally. I know there is a lot of waiting. I know it's more expensive, but definitely craftsman is the way to go. And in Ukraine, generally speaking, Eastern Europe, and I want to say, yeah, Czech Republic as well. They've got some Poland. They've got some amazing craftsmen, and I have two videos dedicated. So you know, how I don't even remember what I called them, but I got two videos on my channel. One for Roman reenactment and one for medieval reenactment, where I list all the craftsmen that I suggest. And I should actually make a new one because I've got some new people, and I've just ordered an incredible brigandine, and I'm working on. I'm gonna have once the brigandine arrives, it's gonna be incredible. It's like royal blue with, and it's made of silk velvet, hand spun silk velvet with handmade brass rivets. And I'd like to underline over 2,000 handmade, beautiful brass rivets. It's an incredible piece of work, and I got it through Patreon money, I'd like to underline. So thank you so much to my Patreon because it was quite spendy. And I'm going to have a collaboration with the other Brigandine guy, you know who I'm talking about, the red one, Shad from Shadiversity, and even Matt Easton. We'll all join together, wear our Brigandines, make a video together. It's going to be great. It's just a postal service that it's kind of, I've got all these ideas for these great video collaborations, and it's just a post. You got to wait. You got to wait. 439 people, that's my personal record. I've never had so many people watching at the same time, so I really appreciate. Thank you so much. Let's see. Hello, hello, hello. Hello to you. Jet, Latin is only dead for the plebs. I think I'm really like late with I've got like a massive lag. I need to start because there are a lot of comments. Yeah, there we go. There is another 50 NOK, which I don't know what country's currency it is, but thank you so much. Salve, how do you pronounce Marius in proper classical, circa 1st century classical Latin? You would just say Marius. Marius. Okay, right. If I really have to go in detail, you might. So obviously everything else is Marius, Marius, but the S, if you really want to be accurate, should be retracted. So not really, and I don't use it. I like to underline because I don't particularly like it, but I am aware of it. So classical Latin of that specific period most likely did not have a frontal S like we do in standard Italian. And I say standard Italian because in some dialects, particularly in the north, they do have the retracted one. So let me show you. It might sound the same, so this takes some time, but the Italian S in standard now, it's like English. Retracted S, it's like the one they have in Spanish or Greek. So it's a so Marius, Marius, instead of Marius, Marius. Similar to when the Spanish say, I don't know, los pimientos, it sounds in between a sh and a s. It's in between. And most likely, the reason why the Spaniards still have this sound, and well, the Greek have it too, but that doesn't really matter. And some Italian dialects in the north still have it. It's because most likely classical Latin pronunciation was pronounced like this. Now, it doesn't mean that everyone pronounced it like this, but generally speaking, standard Latin probably was pronounced like this. So, yeah, if you really want to be accurate, Marius, Marius. That would be classical Latin. I don't use it again. I say Marius. It's just more natural for me as an Italian, and I also find it more beautiful. But if you really want to be accurate, that's the sound. Thank you for the question. Streaming is quite different than scripted videos, indeed. Oh, yeah. I mean, not all my videos are scripted, and thank you so much for the donation from Gustavo Raffo to BRL, I think from Brazil, I suppose. I don't know. Obrigado if you're from Brazil. If not, thank you. Thank you so much. And yeah, streamings are very different, and not all my videos are scripted. Some videos are fully scripted and I fully memorize the script. In fact, it did happen a few times that someone was like, oh yeah, but I can tell you're reading a script, and I'm like, no, I'm not, like literally I'm not. Like I know that some people, sometimes some YouTubers, you can tell because they're looking at the camera, but they're actually looking behind the camera, and you can see them moving their eyes because they're reading a script, and I hate it. That's why I don't do it. I literally memorize 7 pages of script full memory, and I just basically what an actor does. If you think about it, I learn the script, and but I don't do it for all my videos. Many videos, particularly lately. So a fully scripted video, in case you want to check it out and see the difference. A fully scripted video is the one I made about the Etruscans. That one fully scripted, 4.5 pages, completely memorized. But the most recent videos, like the ones, my last, I want to say 4 uploads were not scripted, they were completely improvised. So yeah, that's that. €5 from Giza Gee. Thank you so much. I love you, Metatron. Have a great day. Well, thank you so much. Mutual feeling. I appreciate. So yeah, not all my videos are scripted, but this one obviously isn't. Can you imagine going to a streaming live having memorized now? It just wouldn't be authentic. I think scripted videos are great for packing a lot of information into the shortest time possible. Then it's great, those scripted videos. Otherwise, I believe more natural, improvised videos also are great. That's why I don't script all my videos, also because I wouldn't be able to keep up with a Wednesday, Saturday schedule, which is my current schedule. I'm even considering going up to 3 videos a week. I'll see. Right now it's 2 videos a week, but I might do that. Mexico, Rodrigo Casanova, 50 Mexican money. Thank you so much. I need to study worldwide currency. That's what I need to do. Hola, hermano. Hello, brother. What do you think about a steel macahuitl? I don't know what that is. And writing a book where the Mexican Aztecs went and conquered and upgraded tech. That's actually very interesting. I think that would be a great book. Keep me updated. Hey, if you make the book and you send it to me, I'll read it, because that sounds very interesting. I like these alternative readings on history, like what would have happened if. In fact, I wanted to make a video, what if the Roman Empire never fell. I kind of wanted to make that, so that would be great. Again, Mirage Blake, I am a Brit, yes. Was it the Blake part? No, it was the pounds, but thank you again for the £2 that you just sent. Whereabout in England are you from? When I was in England, I really lived all over. I lived in London, so I lived down south, but I've also lived up north. I lived in Manchester. I lived in Liverpool. Goodness gracious, Liverpool accent. It's like, I like all English accents, but some English accents are harder to understand than others, I like to say. But I like all English accents, and I like all British accent, which is different, of course, because when you say British accent, you also mean, Scottish, and I suppose up to a certain extent, British Isles. It also could include Ireland. Yeah, I've also lived in Wales, and Welsh is an interesting language to look at. I don't know much. Elijah C. Brooks, say thank you so much. $1, I appreciate. Thank you so much for your donations. You're all great. In fact, it's interesting. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I can see how much money was donated, and I can see that we already reached €56 and 53 cents, which is for me it's a big sum. So I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Someone is writing money, 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 money. Thomas Smart for some reasons. Okay. Okay, Mega Knight 2012, $5. Thank you so much. What are your thoughts on Griffin? Yes, the latest For Honor update. Yeah, as I say, I'm not a big fan. I kind of already answered that. I'm not a big fan. I don't know. And I wish it looked more like a nighty night. I was really looking forward to. Of course, we already have Lawbringer Daddy, Law Daddy. He looks like a proper knight. What proper, you know what I mean, in the For Honor universe. But I don't know, not a big fan of Griffin. I mean, I'm happy that they put someone that can look Greek, but at this point I would have said just fully commit to the Greek and just make it fully Greek. Like completely, like you already got the Romans anyways with the knights, just put the Greek guy. Instead he has got like some armor that looks samurai, some armor that looks like scale, some armor that looks it's a bit of a mess. One helmet looks like a knight. It's kind of a bit weird. I would have gone for full Greek with a Greek weapon. I think he's using brandish. What is it called again in English? Can't remember. $2 from Susan Lee. Thank you, Susan. Opinion on Livia Augustus' wife. Okay, I don't really have an opinion, to be honest, but I will look into it. I will, because I think that could be interesting to start. Actually, you just gave me an idea to perhaps start making videos and look into famous women as well. I have in the past. I mean, I have a video dedicated to Joan of Arc. I have a video dedicated to what's her name, the famous Japanese samurai woman. I can't remember the name now. I will make a video on Boudica, of course, and I think perhaps, yeah, why not? Maybe some of the important Roman women that were behind the emperors could be great. That's a very good idea. People, hey, hi Metatron, have you played Cyberpunk? Yes, as I said at the beginning of the stream, you probably weren't here. I have. I've been playing it like crazy. I have almost 20 hours already in game. I love it. I play it on PC. I'd like to underline because I know a lot of people are having problem with their PS4 versions, like lots of bugs. I have experienced some bugs, particularly with bikes that for some reason sometimes get themselves glued on the asphalt and you can't move anymore. I don't know when that happens, but not too many bugs. It's not completely broken. You can still play it. One of the most beautiful games I've ever seen. Absolutely beautiful. And I play as a cyber ninja, ex Arasaka core, and I fight with a katana. Obviously, yeah, it's a great game. I love it. I should make a video about it. I really should. Okay, let me scroll down a little bit. And again, if some of you have made a donation, I will see it eventually. I apologize if it takes me a little longer. $2 from Navi Wavy. Will you be reviewing the new For Honor Hero? Probably not. I don't know, probably not. The reason why I say probably not is because I want to be fully honest and transparent with you. Views also play an important part for us content creators. Like, I would be a hypocrite if I told you, oh, views don't matter to me. No, views do. They do matter because views generate money and money generates revenue, and revenue is used to buy armor, to buy helmets, to buy new camera equipment, and obviously to pay for rent and bills and food. So particularly now that I can't teach because of the pandemic, I need to rely entirely on my channel because I can't teach. Which means that, For Honor, my latest video I made on the Lady Knight didn't do very well at all. It really didn't get the views, and that's why I decided maybe it's not the case for me to continue making For Honor content because it just doesn't get the views in my case. If it did, I would. Unless it's a Patreon sponsored video, then sure I can make it, but that's different because Patreon sponsored video pay themselves. Or like sponsored video in general, but even if it's a sponsored video, when you get a sponsor, and you see that many of us YouTubers now, we are all working through sponsors. You can see that. You see YouTubers showing Raid Shadow Legends, you see YouTubers showing video games, whatever it is. And the reason why we do that is because, of course, it helps a lot. Because AdSense is not really very good. And what was I going to say? But of course, when we have a sponsored video, we want to make sure that the video gets the views, because if it doesn't get the views, the sponsor is not coming back. So there is a lot of pressure from that point of view. Right now, I'm not going to make a video on Griffin, but that could change. We'll see. We'll have to see. If many of you ask me to do it, then I will, of course, because it's all about what you guys like. At the end of the day, when I say, oh, if a video doesn't get the views, it also means that you are not particularly interested as an audience. So I need to consider the audience as a whole rather than maybe a small section that likes a specific kind of videos. If you see the point I'm drawing. Jason Schwemmer, $5. Thanks so much. I appreciate. Do you speak Romanian? Asks Petru. Just a couple of words, really. I don't really speak. I think I know Cefac. Yeah, I know Cefac. It's like, oh yeah, how are you, right? Dustin Caldwell, $8 Australian dollars, I suppose. Hey, Metatron, were you still making Ghost of Tsushima content, or did I miss something? Okay, yeah, I kind of stopped because I made two videos. No, actually three, if you consider the first trailer review. I made the trailer review in English, and then I made two episodes entirely in Japanese. But they do take a little longer to be made because I do need to brush up a few specific technical terms in Japanese because I don't really get many chances to speak Japanese. I'm still fluent, but I don't, if you ask me, hey, what was the word for, I don't know, the little string nearby a scabbard where, if it's very technical, I'll have to look it up again. So they do take me longer. And the first video did very well. I think it's got like over 100,000 views, but the second one capped at 20K. And I'm like, maybe not. But I will make another Ghost of Tsushima video, but I think I'll just make it in English. It's going to be easier for me to make it, and maybe even easier for you to watch. Although I have been considering making Metatron Japan, just a full channel entirely in Japanese. Let me know if you like the idea. Hello Metatron, love your content. Do you store food in your mustache like the ancient barbarians? Also, will you get a salad and a bever? No to the first question and yes to the second one. I will get a full salad with a bever, and I want the craftsmen of Taurica to make it. They make some spectacular. I got like this close to buy an already made salad with a bever that they made. It was an Italian salad, but the reason why I didn't get it is because it wouldn't fit my head, because I got a big head, so it wouldn't fit. It was like 57, I think, inches circumference, and I need a 60. So I was like, nope, can't do it. And which was a shame because it was like a good offer. £2 from Miss Mirage Graham Blake. Hemel Hempstead, a town in Hertfordshire. Hertfordshire. I've never been to Hertfordshire. That's interesting. Thank you for telling me, and thank you for your donations, mate. For Gonda, says Dionysius Chris. Thank you for your €2. I appreciate. And we've also got $5, guys. You're amazing. Like, you're really being really cool. Gorgosaurus 45. That's uh, that's one name. What types of armor and helmets were used by officers in the Ming Dynasty? Okay, so Ming is, or should I say Ming, because the G is not pronounced. I'd like to underline in Mandarin Chinese. When you have an N and a G, the G is mute, and it's only used to make the N nasal. Okay, so if there is no G, you read Min, Min. If there is a G, Ming, Ming. So the N is not nasalized. It's every time I hear like Ming, I'm like, oh, there is no G. Anyways, Ming Dynasty is interesting, and it's actually my favorite because one of the things I love, and probably I should show, are brigandines. Now I know you're specifically asking about helmets, and to be honest, I don't remember the specific helmets that they used, but I do remember that in terms of body armor. The dynasties, brigandine were absolutely amazing. I love them, and I should make a dedicated video. Maybe, yeah, well, why not? Why not? It would be great to actually have a replica of that. But thank you for your donation. Respected mastermind da Italiano. That's in Italian. So I'm going to read it in Italian. And then, oh yeah, he actually put the translation. Appreciate that. So I'll read both. Da italiano, sentendoti le prime volte in inglese, non avrei mai immaginato fossi italiano. I'm Italian and I wouldn't have guessed you were Italian when I started following your videos. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate. Thank you very much. Will you ever play CK3? I think it's like Crusader King. And what is your opinion on the blackening armor? Crusader King, I haven't played it in a very long time. I played it like many years ago. Perhaps we'll see. We'll see what we can do. And the blackening armor, yeah, it was done historically. I'm not a big fan in terms of the looks, but I understand the advantages. The only thing is that, generally speaking, it does have advantages, but I think a mirror polished plate surface is just the best. Look how that glitters. It's like, how can you? I just love it. No bluing, no blackening for me. I respect people who like it, but it's just not my thing. Mirror polished is my thing. CTAM79, yo Metatron, saw the movie Angels and Demons on Netflix recently. Be interesting if you did a breakdown of the film's Vatican history. Arrivederci. Arrivederci. $5 by the way. Thank you so much. That could be interesting, actually. I haven't seen it, but I'll have a look at it. I didn't even know about this movie. The history of the Vatican can be very interesting, particularly if you look at the medieval period and the sort of power that they had. In fact, there is one video that I've been working on, which is titled "How Powerful Was the Medieval Catholic Church?" Um, uh, I'm gonna make that video, so it's there. It's just I don't know when, but I will, and I think it's going to be interesting. And the Vatican, of course, I've been. Obviously, I was also invited into the secret archives, and which is, I mean, they're called secret. It's not. It sounds a lot cooler than it is, but yeah, secret archive is just because they're private. So you need an invitation, but I did get an invitation, and I did go many years ago, and they did show me some really good things, particularly for the Asian, since they knew that I was a in Italian, we say orientalista, an orientalist. I understand that the word oriental is dated in English, but it's still used in Italian. Anyway, someone who focuses on Asian history. And they showed me a lot of the early original copies of the letters and some original letters with the Chinese government. And I'm talking about the times of Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan. That's what I'm talking about. So I could see the originals, and it was and even some papal bulls and stuff like that. Very interesting. I actually have a video on that. Hello Metatron. I hope you and your family are safe. Have safe and fun, happy holidays. Thank you so much, Goodman4. That's a deserved name. Thank you for your $5. Kiki reviews. Are you Christian? Yes, I am Christian, and I know that this might surprise some people, or will it? Because at the end of the day, I chose the name of an angel for my channel. But you notice that I have never spoken about religion, if not just a couple of times. And usually, when I speak about religion on my channel, it's always linguistic. I never really speak about doctrine because I don't want to be someone who comes to you and tells you what you should believe, and I won't even tell you what I believe if you don't ask me, because I believe it's a private thing, and it's not something that should be forced on people. So you believe whatever you believe. You don't want to believe, don't believe. It's absolutely fine. It doesn't change a thing. And about the way I perceive you, and I will never force my beliefs or force what I believe. Also, because I've got a little bit of a, I want to say, not non-traditional approach to Christianity. Let's put it that way. So yeah, I don't really consider myself to be. I don't really put myself into a box and say, hey, this is my label. I just have my own beliefs, and perhaps one day I might even make a video. Just make sure that it's fully clear that it's a video where I talk about this, and so if people don't want to watch it, they don't have to. But thank you, Bradish. Yeah, that was the weapon I was looking for. Someone is asking, I Metatron, are you gay? No, I'm not gay. I'm straight. Yeah, so that's that. I've got a girlfriend. But yeah, Welsh language is interesting, and then yeah, something wrote something in Welsh, I suppose. Can you make a Discord server? I'll consider that perhaps in the future. It's kind of complicated for me sometimes to keep everything together. Having to fully run a YouTube channel takes a lot of time and effort. So I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do. August Varney, sorry I'm late, but I'm very excited for the stream. Hey, no worries, we've just started, my friend. 41 minutes, I'm just warmed up. Hello from Ohio, Method. It's been already 41 minutes, goodness gracious. Hello to you. I'm sure Ohio is really good. I've never been to Ohio. In America, I've only, and by the way, thank you for the $5. I've been to Tennessee, obviously. I've been to Alabama. I've been to New York. And I've also passed by Atlanta. And that's all I've seen. So next time when they open the frigging borders, I will go to. I want to visit. Of course, I go back to Tennessee, but I also want to visit Texas, and we'll see. Perhaps I'll visit Utah. Perhaps I'll visit California. That would be good to visit Florida. I would love to live in Florida. You know what? I would love to like not now, but in the future, if something happens and I can afford it, it would be great to buy a house in like near Miami. That would be great, but I don't know if that's ever going to happen. James Lahif has a question. Bronze Age armor and clothing, architecture, vehicles, etc. Question mark. And thank you for the $8, by the way. Yeah, totally, totally. You know how often on my channel I mostly speak about the medieval period, feudal age Japan, and then the classical antiquity, so the Roman period. And obviously the classical period is after the Iron Age, which is after the Bronze Age, which is after the Copper Age, obviously, and then the Stone Age, and all the way back. But I think I'd like to. I've been thinking. I have a few videos on the Iron Age and a few videos on the Bronze Age. I've got one like about the history of plate armor, where I go all the way back to Mycenaean armors. But yeah, so there is that. I think I will. I believe I will. Can you make a Discord server, please? Metatron, did you ever get your full plate Italian armor? Okay, that's another thing I wanted to touch on. So touch upon. So thank you very much for bringing that back to my memories. And yes, so it's still in the making. And the armorer said he promised that he will get it finished by February. Now I don't know if COVID is going to make it even. It's going to make me wait even longer. We've been waiting forever, but I'm not the only one, I understand. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. Hopefully soon. But my Brigandine should be coming this month. So at least we get to see that one. Because I noticed that some people were asking me, like, why do you only wear a breastplate? Why don't you have the full plate armor? It's because, I mean, I've ordered it. I paid for it already, but it just takes forever. It really, really does take, and also the armorer had bone problems. He had surgery, so that slowed down everything. That's that. Any chance of Metatron someday making a video about Brazilian history? That would be great. I'll have to see, because there are many, many countries out there that I think it would be great to make videos. And if I can keep up with these 2 videos, I mean, I can keep up with 2 videos a week. If I can increase and go up to 3 videos a week, that would allow me to cover even more content. And one thing I could do is that I could make 2 videos about the usual stuff that I normally talk about, and the third upload could be like an upload to try and talk about things that I normally don't talk about. So that could be, I think that could be a good pattern, so that, if people are not interested in the things I choose that are maybe peculiar, they still don't miss out, because they still get their 2 regular videos about the sort of topics that they subscribed for, which I think is also important. So thank you for that. Let's see. Metatron, I admire anyone who can speak Latin, but don't you think it's artificial, as far as I understand the modern community uses the written work as basis to speak Latin, right? Well, yes, but you don't have to imagine that um, you can artificial in a way, of course, because unfortunately there is no native speaker of Latin, but I think it's the closest we can get. And at the end of the day, I understand what you're saying, that they use the written word, but I would imagine very, very highly educated, posh, rich, whatever Latin speakers of the time probably did speak like that. In fact, there are a lot of people, actually Latin writers, that do lament the fact that the youth, for example, the younger generation, is starting not to speak like them. So in a way, sure, a little bit, but it still is a great thing. It still is a great endeavor, and it's the closest we can get at the moment. We'll see if we find something else. We'll have to see. Uh, Vitor Emanuel Oliveira, Metatron, what do you think about pineapple pizza? It's heresy. Of course, it's heresy. It's apostasy. That's what that is. Pineapple on pizza, my goodness. Let me scroll down a little bit because I think I've got like a huge lag. 50 NOK from CB. How much would it cost a nobleman in the medieval period, I suppose, to have a knight in their service? Well, a nobleman usually is a knight, but if you want to fully equip a knight, it would cost a lot, yes. But for a true noble one, like someone who already owns like a castle and owns lots of servants and has armies, it wouldn't set him back too much. It wouldn't set him back much at all, really. It kind of depends on what nobleman we're talking about, but yeah, you have to imagine it that it's a knight in full armor with the horse and the page and everything would cost like a sports car today. So that's how you can imagine it. If you are the sort of think of Justin Bieber, how many sports car that guy can buy, and that's the amount of knights he could have. Think about it that way. If you are someone who's a nobleman, but already a sports car is a bit too much, then that would have been the same situation. Something like that. Saluti da Firenze, 10 euro, grazie mille. Thank you so much from Florence. I got 10 euros from Florence. Thank you. I love Florence. I love the accent. It's a great accent. Desmond Rakahali, great work, my friend. Your videos are very inspiring. Thank you so much. I'm hoping to get back to Kenjutsu and or Hima when this madness comes to some end. Yeah, I wanted to start practicing Katori Shintoryu again. I couldn't because it's just, you can't do it. The government won't allow it right now. And in fact, our sensei has been telling us to practice back at home on our own. And that's what I'm doing right now. But yeah, if I had a HEMA club nearby, I would definitely practice some Italian longsword. Or actually, my favorite would be sword and shield. In fact, eventually, I think I will make my own club and we will study sword and shield. I think I will. I won't be a teacher. I will just be. It will be like a group study because I don't feel qualified to be like I'm the instructor. No, but I could be someone who brings the sources, and then we can all interpret it together. That would be great. And so we'll see. I would definitely focus on sword and shield. That would be great. John Henkel, thank you so much. $20 donation. My wife has a master's in French and minor in linguistics, and you almost broke her with your explained why William was pronounced with a W instead of a G. Yeah, I would be honored to meet you the next time you visit Tennessee. Well, thank you so much, and say hello to your wife. Say bonjour to your wife. I appreciate that, and yeah, why not? Absolutely, yeah, we could meet. Have something. What about Cyberpunk 77? Yeah, I think I should make a video about Cyberpunk 77. Such a great game. I love it. I love it. I really like that game. It's 20 hours in already. What video did you enjoy making most? Oh gosh, that's not easy. Well, definitely something in armor because I love wearing armor, as you can tell. Maybe the interactive videos that I used to make back in the day, they were very fun to make, but they were also quite, generally speaking, external videos are my favorite. The ones where I get to wear the armor, be in the middle of the nature, wearing, as a Roman, marching with the shield. I love it because they teach me a lot. So as I make them, you would think that, I make them to teach people. In reality, I make them to learn so I can teach people. And, that's how it works. What was better, the Lorica Hamata, asks Boot Pringle, or Lorica Segmentata? It depends. I mean, if we look at history and the imprint, then I should say Lorica Hamata, so male, because that was the one that was mostly used by the Romans. Lorica Segmentata was only used for a few centuries. Lorica Hamata was used like for the entirety of Roman history and beyond. Then again, Segmentata is my favorite, I'd like to underline. So there's that. So I suppose it kind of depends on what you're going to use it for, because if they made it, when they already had Hamata and they felt the need, we need to make segmentata because Hamata is not enough in this specific context, then I suppose that segmentata is better at doing facing certain weapons or being used in certain specific. And of course, I would imagine that both are excellent against cutting, but I imagine segmentata is harder to pierce because at the end of the day, it's plate, isn't it? Dustin Caldwell, $5 Australian. Thank you so much. Awesome. I love the videos you made. Super interesting to watch and hear your thoughts. Can't wait for more whenever it suits you. Well, thank you so much. Well, I'm fully committed to a schedule. So Wednesday, or schedule like they say in America, Wednesday and Saturday, always you can expect a video. So there is that. Cozy Strats, thinking about taking up Yaido. Okay, do any of the techniques translate to real swords fighting, block parries, etc.? Or is it mostly just edge alignment? And thank you for the $5. Okay, so Yaido. I imagine when you say Yaido, you mean Sete, Yaido Sete, which is very modern, so you have to keep that in mind. It's a beautiful, yeah, sure, some techniques, absolutely. But you have to imagine that Yaido Sete is very, very modern, and therefore a lot of the things you will do won't be something that the samurai would do. Other things, sure, absolutely. I'm not saying the core of the techniques, absolutely, but it is very modern. And I specify that because even in Katori Shintoryu there is Yaido. In Kenjutsu you also have Yaido, which makes sense because that's how a samurai would have learnt it. You never had a samurai who only practiced Yaido like they do in video games sometimes. Like you have to choose the fighting style, and this samurai only uses Yaido. So when he's got in a fight, he keeps the sword in the scabbard, in the saya, and then after he hits, he puts it back because that's fun, but it's video game. In reality, Yaido was just something that a real samurai would learn as part of his full repertoire of things that he could do. So he could also fight normally, like using Kenjutsu. He could also fight with Naginata. He could use a bow. He could do everything else, Jujutsu, so hand to hand. But the reason why they would learn Yaido is because you need to be able to be effective if you are ambushed. In my opinion, Yaido is all about ambush. It makes no sense to put the sword back and purposely and use that unless it's like an assassination. Okay, yeah, if it's assassination, absolutely do that. But otherwise, it makes no sense. If you know you're gonna fight, you draw your sword. That's my opinion. But yeah, sure. If Yaido is the only option you have in your area, do it. But keep in mind, it's very ceremonial and it's very beautiful rather than very effective. And I know some Yaido practitioners are going to hate on me on that, but I think one of the things that I'm clear when I make my videos is that I'm going to be honest, even if it offends people. I'm not saying that Yaido is a waste of time. I love it. I love Yaido. It's probably the most elegant style ever. But much of that elegance comes from the fact that it was made during the time of peace. Because in time of war, you got to be quick, not slow and beautiful and graceful. But yeah, take up Yaido. I would. If I had a Yaido school nearby, I would do it. So yeah, $10 from Turthstone Imagine. Yeah. Hello, Olympia, Washington. Hi there. Have you ever thought of discussing ancient musical instruments, for example, the use of trumpets in the Roman army? Oh yeah, yeah. If they are linked to the military or the Celtic or carnix of Celtic culture, yeah, if they are linked to the military, yes. So they have to be kind of linked to militaria. Otherwise, it's kind of an off topic if you see the point I'm drawing. But sure, yeah, absolutely. Keep it in mind. Thank you. And Martin Alves de Lima, please, your unique option about Triari instrumental, the Last Legion Germanic sort of anthem, glorifying Rome, stated falsely in many channels as an authentic Empire song. Yeah, to be honest, the only, and thank you for your donation of 100 Brazil lira, Brazil L. Yeah, the only song we have that has to do with marching is Urbani. So the song that was dedicated to kind of make fun of Julius Caesar. In fact, it's like, hide your wives, Caesar is coming, that kind of stuff. That's what it means translated. It's kind of, so they were just making fun of him. But we don't really have any song, as far as I understand, any military related song that is to date, like, period.
song. Wow, a lot of stuff about the Ottomans, says, because I'm trying to read as many comments as I can. Sei laureato? Giuseppe Santorelli asks me if I have a university degree. Sì, sono laureato. Yes, I have a university degree. Although my university degree, which I took a long time ago now, was it's lingue e culture comparate, so compared languages and cultures. So it was mostly languages, but I also did a lot of history and mostly compared it, which is why on my channel you see so many VS, because comparison, it was part of my academic field of study, if you will. Um, let's see. Sardinians are really close to the original Latin. Yeah, that's true. In Sardinian, you still have, which is a language you can't understand, by the way, if you're not from there. Like, if I hear someone speaking Sardinian, I have no idea. Oh, yeah, of course, I can pick up words. But if they speak to me in Sardinian, even though I'm also from an island, I still don't understand. It's like completely different. And the yeah, so the Sardinians, they still have like the, because you know how in Italian a GN put together is pronounced as ñ, ñ, like the Spanish N with a little thing on top that I can't remember what it's called. It's pronounced like a ñ, ñ, ñ. So, for example, regno, but in for kingdom, but in classical Latin that was pronounced gn, so regnum, and they still have that sound, so they still pronounce it like that in Sardinian. That's just one example. There are many other examples where you can still see the remnants of the original pronunciation in classical Latin that was preserved, which I think it makes sense. Usually, it's always islands that preserve things. I mean, even in Sicilian, my own dialect, we have the tendency of putting the verb at the end of the sentence, which is something that you can do with Latin and you can't do with standard Italian anymore. And in fact, when I used that, when I was studying at university in Naples, and I would sometimes do that naturally, people would look at me and be like, "How the heck do you speak? What? Why would you put the verb at the end?" And I'm like, "Because I'm Sicilian." We generally do it with for emphasis, but we still do it, and they did it in Latin. It's something we kept from Latin that disappeared in Italian, standard Italian, and it's similar to the fact that when you want to learn Old Norse, you want to go to Iceland because again, detached, so kind of kept how things were. Omar Nozes, $1. Thank you so much for your donation. I appreciate. There is another question here. Hi from Chile, Angel Lopez Cartilao, Angel, maybe. Hi from Chile. What do you think are the benefits of learning Latin? Well, definitely, learning Latin is fascinating, and that's already a benefit in of itself. But it does help us understand why we say certain things and how we say certain things in our own languages if we are Romance language speakers. And even if you're not, even if you're an English speaker, there are a lot of words that come from Latin, and understanding what they mean. For example, many languages are linked also to Italian, obviously. So in English you say tooth, teeth, but you say dentist, and in Italian denti is teeth. So you can see the relationship there, and I think studying Latin helps you do that, but with your own language if you're a Romance speaker, and in general also with with English, if because of the fact that English most not most but over 40% of the English vocabulary is Latin based anyways. Victor Emmanuel Oliveria, 5 Brazilian lira. Hello, Mr. Metatron. Share with us your opinion about pineapple pizza. I hate pineapple pizza. I tried it. It just doesn't match. I mean, pineapple is sweet, and then you put it with something. It's a friggin' is it a fruit? Yeah, it's a fruit. It's a friggin' fruit. No, I say that because tomatoes are fruits as well, and it's like mind blowing. Anyway, no, just pineapple. Just it doesn't fit with the tomato. It's like you've got the tomato sauce, you've got the mozzarella, and then you put the pineapple. It's like just no. Andrew Salhani, $20, thank you. Were Roman roads swept, or was that necessary? Oh yeah, that's actually a very good question. I wonder. I don't know. I have no idea. I would imagine they were maintained, though. Yes, they were. It's not that I would imagine. I know they were maintained. I wonder if they were swept. Well, no idea, mate. I have literally no idea. That would be good. It's a good question, though. Donny Sandley, love your honesty, my brother from another mother. I appreciate. Thank you. Let's go. Let's scroll down a little bit because I think again the lag is unbelievable on my videos. It's always like that. Like I read a message and it's from an hour and a half ago. Oh, there we go. Now I'm up to date. Now I'm up to date. And in fact, someone says you don't put pineapple on pizza by itself. It goes on with ham. Oh my gosh. Yeah, put some. I don't know. Put some lemonade on top. Why not? A bit of chocolate and ketchup. Chocolate and ketchup. Just mix them together and let's see this beautiful creamy concoction. And let's see if you survive that. You have my respect. Let's see. The Romans. Oh, that's a very good question. You're actually anticipating a video I'm gonna make soon. Grasa, maybe. The Romans spent a lot of time fighting in Iberia, and so basically the Spanish peninsula, and took many things from those wars. How tough were the Iberians when it came to war against the Romans? No, they were relatively tough, but the Romans didn't really have too much of a problem, generally speaking. But one thing about the island where you have Ibiza, they had some of the best slingers in the Mediterranean, and that's in fact the Romans actually will hire them, and I will be speaking about that soon on a dedicated video. But the okay, in Italian it's Baleari. Let me just look it up because I have no idea how to say that in English. Baleari in English. Let's see. Balearics. Balearic. Let's hear the voice.
Balearics.
Balearics. Let me hear it again.
Balearics.
Balearics. I think I need to say it with a face actually. Balearics. Okay, so the Balearics are called like that because of the slingers, literally. So we know for a fact that by the Greeks, by the way, they were named like that. So yeah, people over there, very good slingers, and the Romans did take note and even hired, I believe, up to 8,000 during the First Punic War. I'll have to double check my information there, but something like that. Augustus Alexander, ciao Metatron, have you ever thought of making a video on Alexander the Great and his conquest of the Persians and whether or not the Romans were evil in the show Barbarians? Yes, yeah, I am. I think the next video, next and probably last video, because I made so many on Barbarians, is going to be this idea of the Romans being depicted as villains and as evil. And I'll give you a little hint, taste of that, and then I'll make the dedicated video. But so I'd like to say that that show is obviously exaggerating it because they want us to see, look, the free, good barbarians against the evil, imperialistic, whatever. And history never, in reality, I want to say, never really is that black and white. It has innumerable amount of hues of gray, if you understand what I mean by that. And for the Romans, so in that specific case, it is true that that specific consul was very strict, but he was unusually strict. Okay, so yeah, the populations that had to do with the Romans during the time of Teutoburg 9 in Germania, in the province of Germania, yeah, they were not treated right. The taxes were very high. However, I have to say that the super high taxes were in response to the stealing of the eagle, which did happen, but didn't happen at that time. It happened before. So in the TV series, it kind of feels like the stealing of the eagle is something that the Germans pull off because they hate the Romans because they tax them too much. It's actually the other way around. So they had already stolen the eagle. I want to say few generations before that actually, and then the Romans, as a response to that, they made the taxes heavier. So it's kind of a different perspective, but it was true that they were unusually strict in that area. Generally speaking, the Romans weren't that strict, and given people can tell me, yeah, okay, but it's not their land, so the Romans are evil because they're going there and they expect people to pay taxes even though those people were free and it's not right. But here's the thing, you can say that about everyone in the world. There is not one population that had a chance, was militarily powerful, and didn't try using it to oppress other people. It's just what we do as humans, which doesn't justify it. But I'm saying, if the Romans were evil, then the British Empire was evil, and you can say evil about every empire that went to war. and tried to force it. Unfortunately, it's just the humankind that is messed up. But luckily, the Romans were also they were a lot better than other. I'm not trying to defend, the Romans as a fanboy. I am a fanboy, but I'm not trying to defend it. I do underline the fact that the Romans were quite barbaric when it came to it, even though the usage is kind of weird at that. You know what I mean? I mean, Julius Caesar did do some horrible things to the Gauls. I mean, that goes without saying. But the Romans were also very tolerant, a lot more tolerant than the people. For example, they will let you keep your religion, they will let you keep your customs, and given they will build Roman cities, and they will Romanize, and that's what an empire does. It copies itself. That's how an empire becomes powerful. It's the very basic of the recipe of a successful empire is to copy itself. That's why I think even fictional empires do that. If you think about it, like look at the empire in Star Wars, and all the soldiers look the same. Everywhere they go, they bring the robots, they build their bases. It's the same thing and that's actually very well done. That's what the Romans did. An empire makes copies and makes itself and forces itself into other cultures as well. And eventually, those people will speak the language of the empire, the imperial language. They will have imperial people commanding, and they will take on the imperial traditions. And if you think about it, the fact that in France, in Spain, in Portugal, they all speak a Latin-based language is a proof of that. A proof that the Italic Empire forced itself into and made copies everywhere. I think it's similar to what a cyber virus does on an internet level. On the computer, just makes copies and fills every space possible. That's what an empire does. Now, moral or not, that's a completely different topic, and I think perhaps a topic for a video. Why not? $12 from James Lahiv. Thank you so much. Felix Dies Nativitatis. Buon Natale. Well, thank you. He just said Merry Christmas or Happy Christmas in Latin. I appreciate that. Will you do a video on the German stealing the eagle? I actually did. It's already on the channel. Oh, you mean the actual event? Well, I mentioned it there, and I do speak about it. I do have a video where I speak about it. I think it's one of the 5 videos I made on Netflix. I specifically speak about that. Maybe the one about barbarians, like what it means to be a barbarian. I think that's I'm pretty sure that's the one where I spoke about it. A question from Hervis Dobeni, and after this one I'll have to check the battery of my phone. Let's see. Which weapon would fit better for a crusader? Round shield and sword, or hammer mace without shield? I'm gonna say neither. I would go for a mace and shield, but yeah, mace without shield, I'm gonna say no. Go for shield and sword, but mace and shield is probably what I would choose. But yeah, I wouldn't go without a shield, to be honest. Let's see. Oh, that's interesting. Habu Hihu. If you would live in Rome during Spartacus' rebellion, would you support Romans or Spartacus? If I were a Roman, I would definitely support the Romans. It's all about who you are. If I was a gladiator, or if I was a slave, then no, I would support Spartacus. Support meaning I would cheer for Spartacus, but might even join. But if I was a Roman, I would definitely. You see, because from the perspective of the people, the Romans had a very organized society. Anything that comes out of that, is frowned upon. And we know that because even the emperors or generals who could speak languages that weren't Latin, they were made fun of. We can read that in letters. So you would think, wow, that general actually speaks another language. That's cool, something you want to praise. But no, not the Romans. It's like, oh, you sound funny. The barbarians prefer to speak to you because you speak their language. The Romans kind of made fun of that stuff. So if I were a Roman and I had the mentality of a Roman, for me, and in general, from the perspective of the Roman Empire, Spartacus' rebellion was like a glitch in a perfectly smooth system, and it was a glitch that needed to be fixed. Basically, that's how and that's why they sent legions. And at first, they actually made a mistake, and they thought that these guys we're just gonna destroy them, and they didn't. They were tough, and that's why they had to, spend quite a lot of money and quite a lot of legions to actually take care of them. But yeah, if I was a Roman, I would have definitely cheered for the empire. I would have been scared, to be honest. And that's in fact one of the, maybe it's the only tactical mistake that Spartacus and his army made. The fact that they plundered, because that way you don't get the support of the masses. So the people will just think you are uncivilized brutes, and so they will not join you as many. You won't have as many people joining you because they'll be like, I have my farm and these people, they stole it. I'm not going to think, oh well, yeah, but the Romans slaved them. No, I'm going to think, of course Romans slaved them, because look what they do. It's all about perspective, really. And so there is that. Let's see. Yeah, I need to check the battery. Let me have a look. How do I check the battery? Oh, here. So battery now, yeah, 61%. No problem. Let's go on. 465 people. Let's see if we can get to 500. That would be great. But it's already great like this. Hey, Metatron, have you ever built your own armor? I'm working on it. Let me see if I can show you. Maybe. Do I have it here? Because of course I never prepare things before these things. Like a reasonable person, professional YouTuber would have everything prepared. I've got nothing prepared. But that's me. That's me. Yeah. No. Okay, somewhere in this room there is a box containing a lot of bronze scales. And the reason why I have that is because I want to make my own bronze shirt. I don't know why I keep touching my head. I want to make my own bronze shirt, and I'm not sure if I can make it fully historically accurate because I don't have the tools to do it. But I will make my own armor. This will be my first project, and then if this one goes well, I might. So just an armor that I want to make, like something that I can come up with, like something that I would create and wear. And then if this one works, eventually one of my hopes, one of my dreams is to own a what we call fucina in Italian, so like a like the blacksmiths, can't think of the word in English now, but anyways, where smiths make armor. That's one of my dreams. Do you play Mordhau? Asks Angel Dim. Yes, I do. I'm trying to level up my character before I start making videos, and also because right now I'm horrible at it. Like literally, I play it, and I do like I get like 6 kills and 20 deaths. So I think I need to learn to play that game a bit better. It kind of drives me nuts though when people start jumping around and hitting me while they jump. I'm like, just behave like a man. But apart from that, I'll have to learn it. It's a good looking game. It's quite fun. It's just that, yeah. Once, what happened in actually Mordhau. What happened is that a guy was riding a horse, and then he tried to go through a. It was like a bridge, but it had a roof on this bridge, wooden with little palisades, and he tried to go through, but he was too tall, and the horse got stuck, and he couldn't go back. So I went there, and I took fully dishonorable advantage of that, and I started smashing the horse with my mace. It was hilarious. So I killed the horse, killed the guy. It was really funny, and I should have saved. I should have saved that, but yeah. Okay. Oh my god, he can go all day long. I literally could, like literally, I could go on all day. Yeah. How much do you know about Prussian military history? Not much, unfortunately. I'm mostly focused on the classical period, medieval period in Europe and Japan, and a little bit in Chinese history, of course, because I did study that at university. So there is that. Where are you actually living, man? Asks Marcus. Right now I'm in Sicily, but hopefully I'll be able to leave soon because I don't want to keep living here. I want to move. I mean, Sicily's great. Don't get me wrong, but I'm an international man. I like changing places. So yeah, we'll have to see. Let's have a look. What else have we got here? More questions. There's so many questions. And I apologize for the people that I haven't read. And if any of you made a donation and I haven't seen it, I apologize, but I still thank you. So I'm still very grateful for it. It's just I'm trying to keep up. There are a lot of comments. yeah, the Carthaginians were less warlike and they died. True, although the Carthaginians were quite warlike. I mean, at the end of the day, and they were very. One of the reasons, and again, I'll make a video on this soon, but one of the reasons why the Carthaginians managed to be such a problem for the Romans, it's not just because sometimes you think, well, they had Hannibal, he was a pro, and Roman generals were idiots at the time until we get Scipio Africanus, and so that's why tactically he moved his troops well and he destroyed them. Not exactly. I mean, one of the reasons is because the Romans really had to change their war machina. A lot during the First Punic War, and in fact, that's one of the situations in which the Romans start using cavalry, and the Romans start getting a lot of auxiliaries for ranged weaponry. Because one of the differences, the Romans, of course, they were great at war, but at that time, their greatest weakness was the fact that they did not have specialized corps like the Carthaginians did. The Carthaginians had specialized ranged corps. So instead, the Romans, yeah, they had the Acensi, but the Acensi were the people who couldn't really afford a full panoplia, so a full panoply. They couldn't afford proper weapons and armor because they were poor, and so they would just use tools, the sort of farming tools, and which included and hunting tools, which included javelins. But when we talk about javelins at the beginning of the First Punic War, we're not talking about the specialized javelins that they will use later in the Republic. We're talking about most of the times for the Akensi specific kind of corps, we talk about javelins that were like basically hunting spears. So people that were just not people that were specifically trained to fulfill a tactical purpose as ranged units. That's something that will happen during the Punic War because the Carthaginians were really good at that. They had pros, and that's why the Romans were like, okay, we need this because Carthaginian cavalry is strong, and Carthaginian archers, Carthaginian slingers, these guys are good, and they're so we need. And you know how the Romans are; they adapt. Greetings from Spain, from Payaso Locote. Buenos dias. Buenas tardes, whatever. So, yeah, let's see. I have an important question regarding Roman armor. Under the Roman armor of the tablets in the first century was chain armor. If not, then why not? Okay, so mail underneath plate, I suppose that's what you're asking. And I'm gonna say no, with only one exception, it being lorica plumbata, which is basically mail armor, but on top of the rings you've got scales attached. That's the only case. So scale and mail that I am aware of, but no mail underneath musculata, muscle cuirass, no mail underneath segmentata. And the reason is quite simple. Think about it. Even in the Middle Ages, in the early medieval period, in the high Middle Ages, you don't really have mail and plate until you get to, I want to say, well, yeah, you start, 13th century, it's when you really start. Before that, you do have the occasional kneecap or the occasional very small spaulders at the beginning of the 14th century. But I'm saying proper plate over mail. It's something that starts to be done in the late 13th, well, I want to say 14th century, generally speaking. Well, late 13th, you already have limbs. But I'm saying in the very early medieval period, the Norman knights didn't really do it. So mail was used on its own as that form sort of armor. And the only moment when you start having mail and plate is when you have dedicated full cavalry that has to deal with now powerful lance charges and powerful crossbow, longbow arrows. That's why you have double, right? So for the Romans, it wouldn't really make sense because the bows of the time, you don't really need that unless they really shoot at you a point blank. Mail is excellent for against swords, is excellent against spears. It's a good one. And it didn't work, so you didn't need to have both. And remember, for the Romans, it's mostly infantry. So if you have infantry and you put full plate and mail, it's going to be a problem to walk, to march from Italy to frigging Germany. Okay, for the Romans that wasn't. Sorry, not for the Romans. For the medieval knights that wasn't a problem because knights are on horseback, and even English knights that were famous for fighting on foot, they still moved, transported, and marched on horseback. generally speaking, not even wearing armor if it wasn't the case. But I'm saying even if they're wearing armor, they're in enemy territory. They just dismount before engaging in combat. So when you need to move an army and logistics, the ability to move quickly was one of the most effective things of the Roman army, and you can't lose that just to get double protection. You have double protection when you think of shield and armor combination. That's how they did it. If they also gave them full mail, the marching would have been slowed to the point that it wasn't worth it. Now, full cavalry army, that's different, but not exactly what the Romans did, and I think that that's why. Let's see. What is the difference between katana and uchigatana? That's a very good one, and I've looked into it a lot. For what I can understand, they are the same thing. The only difference is that uchigatana is usually a term that is used mostly, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, in the Muromachi period. So it's a term that is generally speaking used for when the katana started to be used, but mostly looking at it as a tool rather than as a noble weapon. Yeah, uchi means to hit. So it kind of gives you the idea of it's a katana, but it's mostly used as a tool for combat, but not a primary, not a main weapon. Anyways, it's the same weapon, just a different way to say it, probably because they intended it for a different purpose, not as an incredible important weapon as it will be for the Edo period, because it's then it shows your social status, it shows you are samurai, it shows it's a noble weapon, it has the spirit of the samurai inside it. Then it's not a tool anymore, and that's probably why. I demand wheat, says civilized German, and also giving me $5, which I appreciate. Wheat shall be granted unto you. Also because I'm in Sicily, and Sicily was the granary of the Roman Empire, wasn't it? So there is that. Okay. Right. Giacomo Bianchi asks, Ciao Metatron, please could you suggest where to buy European weapons and armor of good quality? Sure, yeah, there are quite a few, but it kind of depends what you mean by European. Like, you mean like medieval? If you mean medieval, so if you mean Roman, then definitely Fabrica Cacti on Facebook. If you mean medieval, then I'm gonna say you wanna go for Craftsmen of Taurica. I always, and again, you can find them on Facebook. They're great, but they are in Crimea, and they are quite slow. They're very good, but they're slow. So you got to be very patient. Otherwise, there are some Polish makers. For swords, I would suggest Elgur. It's written Elgur, so Elgur. Swords makery. He's excellent. My sword. So this one. Haha. I did prepare this one, so I'm not completely hopeless. This one was made by Elgar Swordsmakery, and one great thing about this craftsman, is the fact that he makes all his weapons by hand, not machine. And personally, it is something that I value. Of course, you can buy spectacular swords made by Albion, and I love them, but they are machine made. There is something, in my opinion, about weapons that were made hammer and anvil. If you see the point I'm drawing. So if you want a sword, Elgar Swords Makery, absolutely, and not too expensive either. So there is that. Unless you buy a scabbard, then it does become expensive. Okay. Let's see. Let's scroll down a little bit because we've got a lot of things to talk about. Like literally, I could go on for 20 hours. I would probably lose my throat. And by the way, let's drink. Frederick, can you make a video about the Holy Roman Empire? Yes, I have a video. It's called Late Antiquity. It was a Patreon documentary that was unlocked for everyone. It's still on the channel. But yeah, I am planning. I was speaking to a reenactor of Late Antiquity who has an incredible set of armor, guys. This guy has got he even made it himself. Like a Lorica Squamata, beautiful, wonderful gilded helmet. And I asked him, hey, can you make some footage for me so that I can show what a late Roman would look like, and then we do it like a little collaboration. He's not a YouTuber, but he's active on Facebook, and he did say yes, so I'll organize that. I'm just super slow at organizing things. But do you still work out, asks David M. Do you still work out every week in a gym? I saw your video about training from 3 years ago. I don't, because of the pandemic. I do my push-ups. I do push-ups every day. I do my push-ups, but I haven't been working out that much. I need to start. I can't really go to the gym right now. Not in Italy. They're all closed. It's not legal anymore to do that. But after the pandemic, I will start going to the gym again. Yes, absolutely. Question: why did you sell your red samurai armor? You still have your black one. I'm getting my own suit soon. Yes, my black samurai suit of armor. It's over there, right next to the Roman one. The so okay, the red one I sold it because I wanted to invest on the medieval suit of armor because I thought I had two samurai suits of armor, but I don't have a full European medieval suit of armor. So I thought I'll sell that and then use that money together with the crowdfunding campaign because you understand it's quite expensive to buy knight armor that I did to get a full suit of plate armor. So that's why I sold it. But I sold it to a friend of mine who is an Aikido sensei, and he uses it to when he wears his armor in his dojo. So it's put to good use. And if I ever needed it, I could ask him to lend it to me. So it's still there for content production if I need it. Okay, Metatron, what's your opinion on how much weather can affect a melee battle? A lot. And it's not even a matter of opinion, it's a matter of look at Agincourt. The weather does affect a lot. The morale, mobility, everything really. So the terrain. So yeah, it does affect a lot the outcome of a battle, definitely. In fact, there is, I think, in the Battle of Crécy, the Genoese crossbowmen weren't effective because the water made the continuous intense rain made their crossbows unusable, and which was a huge problem, of course. So you can imagine because they got wet. So yeah, totally. Okay, let's see. So two questions from AM Alec. Hey Raf, I have two questions. I'll start with the one I expect to have a shorter answer. In what situation you'd assume a knight in full plate armor would prefer to use a shield? Okay, well, definitely in the joust. If it's not a shield, at least the sort of joust shield that is attached here as a target. And in battle, personal preference, I would, honestly, I wouldn't abandon the shield. I'm one of those. Like if I will, when I will be wearing my full plate armor, I will use a shield, a heater shield, but mostly not really exactly for protection per se, but as an active weapon of combat. If you look at the channel Roland Varzeka, you will see how he uses offensively the heater shield, and I think he does it in a very, very effective way. So yeah, I would use it as an implement that I can use to try and dominate my opponent, to take control either from a superior or inferior position, depending on where you place. So to control his weapons, to control him, definitely, because it's a problem. It's in the way, and that's one thing that makes it harder to hit you. Rather than just thinking, well, I've got very good armor, so who cares if they hit me? Well, I'd rather they didn't. Still, I'd rather have my armor as something that is there for when I mess up, not something that it's there and it's gonna be hit anyways. But it still makes sense. I understand why some knights would do that, so that they can wield a two-handed weapon. And if I did, I would use a poleaxe, of course. So there is that. Could Longbowman have been effective at Waterloo? Huh. That could be a good video actually. Like Longbowman versus early gunpowder. That could be an interesting video. Why not? Yeah, why not? Probably not as effective, but you know. What is the name of the helmet that the Romans wore? In Latin, you can call it, there are several ways, but you can call it a galea. That's one way to say it. But anyways, in Italian, not in Italian, sorry, in English, it depends on the helmet. So if you talk about the helmet that I wear, usually on my videos, then that's an Imperial Gallic Type H specifically, because that's my favorite. But there are many other types and there are many other kinds. If you look at the sort of Republican early Imperial helmet, so the one that usually in the replicas is made of brass, and it's kind of smaller. That one is a Montefortino. It's named after the location in Italy where it was found. There is also the Coolus, or I have no idea how to pronounce it, to be honest. This one. There are a few. So it kind of depends which one. Where did you do you study Latin? So I obviously studied it at school because in Italy all Italians really study Latin in high school, and I do have to remove the audio from my PC. There you go. Mute my PC. In Italy, we all study Latin in high school, but after that, right now, I study through a channel on YouTube called Scorpio Martianus. It's a Latin entirely in it's a channel entirely in Latin. I was gonna say it's a Latin Italian channel. It's a Latin Italian channel, and it's run by a very good friend of mine called Luke. He also has a second channel called Polymathy, and they're both great if you want to study Latin. Oh, perfect. And it's free information because it's YouTube. Okay, thank you for the $5 from Alexander's Archives. We have reached €200, €204. That's a lot of money. Thank you so much. I think, what can I get? I want to get something for the channel. I could get, how about I invest on, I use it to, one thing I'd like to get with that? A proper heater shield. Let me see if I can do that. Let me see if I can find something like that, because, yeah, I'll consider that. Or a helmet. But I already have quite a few helmets, including my barbute. I love my barbute. I should wear my barbute. Shall I wear my barbute? I'm gonna wear my barbute, yeah. Let me see a few other messages here. There are a lot of comments. And again, thank you so much for all those who are donating. I apologize if I haven't seen your donation. And I have just seen one. Seek and Soul 77, $5 Canadian. How similar are Japanese romanticizing samurai, and Sengoku Jidai, he wrote in kanji, and USA romanticizing cowboys, Wild West, side nos, osusume no nihongo no buki. So you're asking about YouTube? Okay, yeah. What channel would I suggest for? Yeah, you should check out the channel Japan at War. Definitely, that one is a good one. Any other channel for Japanese weapons and armor? I suggest the Metatron channel. I can't think of any other, to be honest. I mean, Matt Easton and Shad have, and even Lindy Beige have videos on the katana, if that's what you're into. So how similar? Not really similar. I don't know. The Japanese, if you think about it, whenever you see even in video games and pop culture, whenever the Japanese make a video game or a movie on the samurai, they get them quite accurate, both in terms of weapons and armor. Well, yeah, they are romanticized, don't get me wrong. They are very romanticized, even for the Japanese, but not sure if I can see a connection with how the cowboys are. Also, because I don't know much about cowboys, to be honest. So there is that. Let me see. Who needs a gym to work out? Well, it's nice to be able to go to a gym. I do a lot of free body workout, I'll give you that. I do that. And I also use sometimes even my shields, my armor itself, to help me. If I do like my, when you work on your triceps and you put the palms of your hand behind your back, you do that in armor. And goodness gracious, it burns. So there is that. Do you smoke? No, never have, never will. Have you ever worked out in other armors? Yeah, I've worked out in every armor I own. I've worked out in samurai armor, Roman armor, medieval, anything medieval I've got. So yeah, I do that, and I kind of change them periodically. In fact, when I started working out in armor 3 months ago, I started with titanium. I got a titanium breastplate because it's the lightest. It's important to be progressive with training, I believe. A lot of times we let our ego take the best of us, and we're like, oh, I'm gonna put on the heaviest armor I can, or I'm gonna bench the more because I need to prove, and then either you get an injury. To be honest, I'm not gonna do that. So yeah, I do work out in armor, but I do it progressively, and I'm giving my body time to get used to it. It doesn't matter if people think I'm weak, because everyone is weak before becoming strong. It's kind of a step in the path, and I'm not gonna pretend that step is not there. So right now, I'm definitely not a strong man, but I wish to become one, which means that I need to acknowledge the fact that I am not strong, and therefore, this way, I can make sure that for example, even when I do my push-ups, sure, I have a number in mind, but full range of motion is more important than the number. So yeah, I can go to people and say, hey, I just did 50 push-ups in a row, great, but if you just do this, what's that? what's that? It's just fooling yourself. So I'd rather do 9 push-ups, but chest to the floor, full range of motion, than doing, I don't know, 100 push-ups and just say a big number. And but again, you need to get to the point, particularly if you're doing it in armor, like in my case. If I wear full Roman armor, it's difficult for me to do chest to the floor push-ups. I can do it, but I kind of let myself get used to it. So I went halfway through and then started going deeper and deeper, but just giving myself time also to recover from it, eating properly, protein, and stuff like that. So with the titanium armor instead, I can go chest to the floor and do 30. So it really kind of, give yourself time. Give yourself time. Someone mentioned Shad. Let me see if I can find it again. What are your thoughts on leather armor in medieval Europe? Do you agree with Shad's video? I don't remember because I watched that video, but I believe it's an old video, isn't it? So I don't actually remember his point anymore. I'll have to rewatch it. But what I can say about, without remembering what he said, but what I can say about leather armor in the medieval period is that it existed. It's just important. So if we can't say leather armor didn't exist, leather armor existed. We know that. There is evidence for it. It's just that probably wasn't that common, first. And secondly, it has nothing whatsoever to do with fantasy leather armor or the sort of interpretation of a leather suit of armor that we have from video games. So yeah, that kind of leather armor doesn't exist. But like quilly, so boiled leather, it existed. And yeah, so leather armor existed. It just probably wasn't very popular, and it was definitely did not look like the sort of leather armor that we see in the media. So it's important to kind of, we need to take a little bit of a middle position with that, because if we say, of course, if you look at biker gear from the movies, yeah, that didn't exist, but it doesn't mean the leather armor didn't exist at all, because it did. So there is that. I hope that answers. Guy Pearson, ciao Metatron, long time fan. Hello, cool to see you live. Stay smart, bro. I'll try to do that. Thank you. Let's see. Let's have a look. Do you smoke again? Yeah, I don't. Viva il re! $5 US. Long live the king. That's what he said in Italian. James Lachev. Thank you. Thank you very much. Is this armor real? Like, is it combat usable? You mean what I wear now? Okay, so this, absolutely, yeah. This is a historically accurate arming doublet. It's what goes underneath the armor, but it does grant some protection. It's a very sturdy garment, and it's definitely usable for war, absolutely. And yeah, my plate is always heat treated. Um, all the sort of armor I have is generally speaking heat treated steel. Generally speaking, medium carbon. So yeah, it could be used. Absolutely. So there is that. The brigandine I have ordered, I have decided to go into a sort of a, it's steel, it's heat treated, but it's relatively thin, although it's not homogeneous. It's thicker in the center of mass and quite thin on the sides. And I specifically decided that because I'm not going to war with it. So if I did go to war with it, I would have still done it, that it gradually reduces thickness, but probably I wouldn't have gone as thin as I did with the actual brigandine I'm getting. But since I'm just gonna wear it for a reenactment, video making, and light sparring, then I didn't care about making it too heavy. In fact, this is gonna be quite practical. So maybe that one I wouldn't wear for actual medieval war, but I would definitely wear it in a medieval castle just to show off, because it's such a beautiful piece. I can't wait for it to get delivered, like literally. Yeah. Okay, let's see a few other questions. And I believe there are more donations. Yeah, there you go. Found one. Thank you so much again. You're being very generous. $5 Delbert Newman. An idea for a future video. How did the mounted heavy cavalry defeat the Swiss men at arms in 1422 Battle of... okay, yeah, that one is a very good instance. And I might consider it. I also wanted to make a video about pike and shot, for example, against Spanish pike and shot techniques used against the French gendarmes. There are so many videos I'd like to make. Like, I really need to start upping the amount of uploads I get out, because I'm never gonna run out of ideas. That's not going to be a problem for me. It's generally speaking a problem of the time it takes me to get a video out. But yeah, so there is that. And Techno Bob, favorite Japanese samurai film, and thank you for your $5. I want to say Run, probably. I like Run, Kurosawa Akira. Probably my favorite. It's just beautiful. I love the red and black armor. Samurai armor is so beautiful. I love samurai armor. I love the colors. So yeah, probably that one I'm gonna say. Okay, you should wear a barbute. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Let's wear my barbute. Let's wear the barbute. I'm gonna wear the barbute. And yeah, let me see. Hello, hello. We're gonna wear the barbute now. Just because. We're gonna wear the barbute because why not? And now you will see probably why it's called the barbute. We will see that. We will do some archaeology together. There you go. Here we are. It's called the barbute because I've got a beard. Well, we don't actually know if that's the reason, but most likely that was a reason. So here we are. The man in the barbute. Can you imagine if someone just arrives now? What they're gonna think? They're gonna be like, "Is this guy been wearing a barbute for an hour and 40 minutes?" By the way, I have a question. Do you guys hear me well? Uh, can you hear me regardless of the barbute? That's a question I have. Uh, any thoughts or opinions on Yukio Mishima? Well, thank you for your donation, but I actually don't know who Yukio Mishima is. I can tell you that Mishima as a surname means three islands, if that's interesting for you, but not quite sure. Will we, Star Ghost, will we ever see a Swiss mercenary video? That would be good. Or a video about the Sacco di Roma, greetings in Switzerland. Yeah, I'll see. I'll see what I can do. But yeah, I'm definitely going to speak about Swiss military because there is some interesting stuff there. Another from Alessandro Delisi, €5. Thank you. Ciao Metatron, keep up the good work. Thank you so much. If I'll ever be able to come back to Palermo, I'll buy you an arancina a carne. He's gonna buy me a rice bowl with meat. Thank you. He even said it in the dialect. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Actually, today I was about to buy an arancina. There is something in Japanese. Italiajin desu ka? So Nishikiyama asks me if I'm Italian. Hai, so desu. Italiajin desu. I am Italian indeed. There are a lot of yes, so I suppose you can hear me. Yes, hear you well. That's fantastic. Then there is no reason to remove this. Look how much it glitters. It's incredible. And this was made by the Pustelak brothers, by the way. Let me see if I can give you a different... Yeah. There is something about the elegance of the barbute. I just love it. I know some people hate them. Like Lindy Beige said that he hates barbutes, and I respect the man, so I respect his opinion, but I strongly disagree because I think barbutes are absolutely beautiful. I think they're epic. I love them. Barbutes are great, particularly from the sides. I like the way it looks from the sides. I've just blinded all of you, but I love the looks of the barbute. And in fact, I don't think it's a case that Oblivion, the very popular Bethesda video game, had the main character wear a barbute in the cover because it's very epic. And of course, it's mostly used for light cavalry actions, so jobs. If you're gonna do a full charge, heavy cavalry action, I wouldn't wear a barbute either. I would wear an armet. But that was actually what happened in the medieval period. A lot of knights, they would own multiple helmets, and then, maybe they wouldn't want to wear always the same helmets. In some occasions, let's say that they are just going after some people running away. Hey, just give me a barbute just in case, But I want to have full vision. I want to be able to breathe properly. And these are some of the advantages of the barbute. Okay, $10. Thank you so much. Have you ever answered the door for a delivery in full armor? If so, what was the reaction of the delivery person? I haven't done it for delivery, but I have done it with a friend. I have done it with two friends. Actually, no, wait. I've done it with the Mormon missionaries. They knocked on my door and I was in full Roman armor. Putting on the armor of God. It's in the Bible, so I suppose that happened. That did happen. I'm sure I made that day. They were very happy with that. Anyways, what do you think about Husaria, the Polish cavalry in Poland? I think that they are great. The winged hussars are great. I need to. Oh, maybe you didn't mean that, because that's a different one. Then I don't know. I'll have to check them. I'll have to check them. Just the same voice as before. That's good. Nice Japanese. Thank you. You should do a video about. Okay, so let me see if I missed some. I know I'm missing comments, of course, and if some of you really wanted me to answer their comments, I'm not doing it on purpose. I'm just trying to read as many as possible, but there are really a lot of comments, which I appreciate, by the way. It's great. You make the show. I'm the spokesperson, but you guys make the show. Can you imagine if I was here on my own, like speaking, hey, look, there is an anime character, I've got Roman miniatures. Oh, by the way, I'm going to show you one of my Roman minis. Why not? Can you please focus, camera? See if the camera is going to focus on the mini. Maybe not. Yeah, so I've got a lot of these guys. Like, I've got a lot of Roman miniatures. Just because I also got some Republican ones, but they are in the other room. You know what? I'm going to make a video. I'm not going to make it as a regular upload. I'm just going to make it as an extra during the week. I'm going to make a video. I'm going to show you all the Warhammer and non-Warhammer armies that I've got, because I really have a lot. I have a lot of miniatures. I think I have a problem. I literally do. I really think I have a problem. Metatron, what would be your choice of weaponry as a samurai in a full-scale battle? Okay, I would go for a Tanegashima Teppo if it's available, so the Arquebus matchlock. If that's not available, I would use a Naginata. Yeah, I would go for a Naginata, and of course I would wear my katana, wakizashi, a tanto, definitely a tanto, for close combat situations. But my main weapon would be a Naginata. Would definitely go for it. I wish I could own a Naginata, to be honest. Yeah. You know what? How about, let me see. You got a PS4. Yeah, I have a PS4 Pro. I got a PS4 Pro. We can hear you, mate. That's good. Okay, well, a question from the Joker. Ma quindi si dice arancino o arancina? So there is a question on how to pronounce rice bowls, and the thing is, because of course, the reason why you would ask a Sicilian is because rice bowls are a very Sicilian thing. The thing is that it depends where you're from. If you are in Palermo, we say arancina, but if you are in Catania, in the east of Sicily, they call them arancino. So I think they're both correct, to be honest. If you eat one in Catania, then you're eating an arancino. If you eat one in Palermo, you are eating an arancina. Also because they are quite different. The shape is different. The way we fill them is different. So at the end of the day, I suppose they're two different things. But yeah, all the rest of mainland says it masculine. I think only Palermo we say it feminine. Yeah, it is surprising how well we can hear you. It is quite surprising, yeah. Anyways, PS4 reveal, yeah. Let's see. How is the mobility in it? Not bad, but I have to say that this helmet is quite solid. Like this helmet, wow, that was loud. So this helmet it's I'm not sure about the gauge, but I believe, I don't know if it's even 14. Maybe it's between, it's either 16 or 14. I don't know. It's definitely not 18 gauge, and it's quite heavy. Not too heavy, but because of the fact that I haven't even stripped it, if you strap it, it's a bit better. But it's I'm looking down, and so the weight is all on my neck right now. If I was sitting normally like this, it would be less of a problem. But because of actually, this is quite epic. I kind of like this. Look at that. It's epic. Anyways, so yeah, no, the mobility is not bad. Of course, if you strap it, it's better. So let's pretend that I'm strapping it. It's not bad at all. Not perfect, but no, mobility is pretty good. To be honest, you know what I would do if I were in a close quarter combat and I was struggling? I would headbutt someone with this. Can you imagine that? That would hurt a lot. Like, going boom. Yeah, I would do that. Not very nice, but yeah. Someone asks, is this ma è la tua stanza o la tua caserma? So he's asking me, is this your room or your barracks? Yeah, I understand the point. I am a salad man, says Pascal. Well, I'm an omelette man mostly and barbute, but I do love salads. Absolutely, absolutely. So, what does it sound like when a sword or an arrow hit that helmet? Does it give you a headache? How about we try? I'm gonna hit myself with a sword, but I'm not gonna do it violently because I don't want to end up in hospital. Well, I wouldn't end up in hospital, but let's give it a little try. Let's try a little bit. So, first, super light. That was already loud. That was already loud. Let's see a little stronger. Gosh, this is really loud. Like if it was a full, super strong hit, that would really hurt my ears. I think it might even stun me up to a certain point because, guy, you have no idea how loud. And I don't know if it's loud for you. Is the sound loud for you? Because it really is loud for me. And yeah, stop! You have violated the law. Yeah, that's from Oblivion. Absolutely. Oh, we've got a donation from Martin R. Thank you. Hello, wanted to ask, is there any increased chance of wrist long-term damage from impacts while you doing sword fighting? If you do it correctly, I want to say no. But of course, as with any activity, physical activity, even when you play football, you run into the chance of injury. If you fall on the ground and fall wrongly and land on your wrist, you can break it. So generally speaking, any physical activity will have a certain degree of risk, but if you do it right, I want to say no. I want to say no. And I'm going to remove the helmet for now, by the way, because, gosh, that was loud when I hit myself. 1 second. Okay. And let's have a drink. That was frigging loud. Goodness gracious. I imagine, like, how thick is the metal of an armor? It depends, but generally speaking, it changes. It depends. For example, when you make a breastplate, as I said before, the center of mass tends to be thicker. But even with helmets, there are some medieval helmets that were super thick. So generally speaking, not too thick. I want to say 2 millimeters, 3 millimeters in the bulk, even down to 1.8, 1.5, depending. The visor usually is thinner than that. But there is an exception to that. The jousting helmet of King Henry V, I think it was King Henry V, it was basically a frog mouth for the joust, and the frontal plate, the part that protects the front of your face, and generally speaking, around the helmet was as thick as 9 millimeters. Then you had an air gap, and then you had more thickness. So it was all the way, if you sum everything up, it was as thick as 14 millimeters. Like, this is unbelievably thick. In fact, this was incredibly heavy. And it was made, believe it or not, of wrought iron. It wasn't even steel. So why did they make it so thick? Because it's the freaking king. So you just want to make sure. Oh, I had a little connection problem. Can you hear me? Yeah. So it was the king. So you wanted to make sure that the king doesn't die, because if the king dies, it's going to ruin it for everyone. And it's supposed to be a cool event, a joust. And so that's the first reason why they made it so thick. Second reason why they could make it so thick is because it's a joust. So you just wear it, boom, and then, a couple of times remove it. Not a big deal. It's not something you need to wear on a battlefield. You couldn't wear something like that on a battlefield. But third, the reason why they made it wrought iron, because you might be like, but it's a king. Why iron? I mean, you had steel. It makes no sense. Royal armory, so you can pay for it. But the thing is that when it gets so thick, it doesn't even matter what metal it is. Iron will do the job. No, nothing is going through a 9 to 12 to 13 millimeters thick plate of iron, plate of anything, to be honest. So that's why they didn't want to waste good steel on that, because there was no need to. How is your hearing with it on? Very different. I can hear, but even when my own voice sounded very different when I spoke to you from the helmet. So that was that. Part 28, unfortunately, I don't think he'll see my question unless I donate. Well, I've actually seen this, so let's see if I can find it. But the thing is that there are I'm scrolling up to see if I can see your question. Well, at least I saw your comment on your question, so there's that. I'm scrolling up, but like I see so many comments that it's really difficult to fish it. So I'm sorry for that. Maybe keep trying, just keep posting it, and eventually maybe I did. I think I found it. I think I found it. Wait a second. Wait a moment. The joke. Yeah, a PS4 reveal. Was that the question? What do you mean exactly? Like, you want to see my PS4? I can show you my PS4 if that's what you want to see. It's on the floor, by the way. I don't know if that's what you meant, but I'll do it anyways on the half chance. That's my floor with some consoles, and I've got more consoles over there. And if you also wanted me to play some games, maybe one day. I do play a lot of games, by the way. I'm a proper hardcore player. So there is that. Yeah, the missionaries. That was funny. Can you please do a video on ancient Indian weapons and tactics? Technically, I could, but I'm not very well versed on that kind of history, military history. So it would take me a lot longer because I would have to study it properly. That's one of the reasons why. Sometimes people accuse me of being Eurocentric. They're like, you're European and you're Eurocentric, and that's so racist. And I'm like, first and foremost, what does race have to do with that, since we are all one race? It's not even scientific to say. It's not like an Italian, an American, and a Japanese are different race anyways. We're all the same race. Different ethnic groups, of course, but you know a different race would be Homo, the difference between Homo neanderthalis and Homo erectus, then yeah, sure, Homo sapiens, those are different races. But anyways, apart from that, so I don't think it's being racist. But apart from that, it's because that's what I studied. So, and by the way, how is a channel that has, like, I think I have over 200 videos on Japan. Apparently, Japan is in Europe, guys. I don't know if you knew that, but Japan is European because I'm Eurocentric with 200 videos on Japan. But yeah, make a video about Saint Seiya. I'll consider that. It's a great. I still got the little. Let me show you. Let me show you. So yeah, apparently I'm not Eurocentric, but it's just that I have a big passion for the medieval period, and therefore, if I need to talk about the knights, if I need to talk about knights, the knights are in Europe. Let me tell you, if there were, I don't know, knights in somewhere else, I wouldn't care. It's a Martian knights. I'm gonna make, that's from Saint Seiya, by the way. I love the glittering, everything metallic. I love. It's just how it is. It's just my life. Let me check my battery. 38%. We can still go on a little bit. We've been here for 2 hours. Can you believe that? Actually, I'm impressed that you guys are here. Like, you guys are very patient because 2 hours of streaming. After this, I'm gonna have pasta. I'll tell you that. What pasta? Maybe tagliatelle. Sì, tagliatelle, pagliettieno, maybe with tomato sauce and a bit of parmigiano. That's probably what I'm gonna do. Um, let's see. Tom, hey Metatron, huge fan. Thank you. Grazie. Gratias Tibiago. Arigato. Watch all your videos. Well, that's thank you. That's commendable. Because that's a lot of videos. Quick question: do you know or have any opinions on if the Knights Templars ever defended and treated Muslims and Jewish pilgrims the same as Christians? I actually don't know. The history I have read, it doesn't appear so, but I might be wrong because I haven't looked into the Crusades in a while. So I probably should. Thank you for the question. Word Rajan, you cannot own a naginata. Well, right now it's difficult because it would have to be blunt in Italy, unfortunately. But if I do end up moving like to a country where you can own sharp weapons, then of course I would get a sharp naginata. But apart from that, since I'm planning on moving, bringing the naginata with me would be really problematic, I think. Lofoten Forsake asks, what level of Japanese you have? Good pronunciation. Thank you very much. I'm business level. Like, I'm fluent in Japanese. I lived in Japan for 4 years, so I speak it fluently. Oh, that's a good question. Mihai. Metatron, please make me understand why a murder strike with a sword hilt poses a problem to a full-plated knight. Okay, so I think it's similar to what we saw when I was hitting myself with a sword. I imagine that if I, and maybe we should test it one of these days, but I imagine if I did the same thing with the hilt, probably that, you know what, I'm going to try it. I'm going to test it. I'm going to do it now. But what I was trying to say is that it becomes, you know, if you hit with the blade, you're hitting with a thinner portion which has less heft because of the fact of how the weapon is balanced, right? Because it's balanced at the hilt. So if you turn it around, you kind of have the effect of a mace in a sense, because now the weapon will be top heavy, and therefore, you know, when you concentrate the impact force into this small quillum of the hilt, and the fact that you've got the heft of the weapon at the top, makes it for a more effective thing. And I'm gonna do it now. I'm gonna hit myself with that. What the things you do for a YouTube channel? The things you do. Okay. And we're back. So I'm gonna hit myself first with the blade and then with this. Of course, I can't hit myself too hard because first I don't wanna ruin the helmet. That's the most important reason. And the second reason is because I don't want to hurt myself. So I'm gonna do that. And thank you for the $5 from Seek and Soul. I'm gonna read your thing in a moment, but first, so we go for the blade. I'm gonna go for the blade again. Let's see. Yeah, that was loud. Quite loud. Let's try with a Metatron. I'm having fun. Don't try this at home. Let's see. 1, 2. I'm gonna go light and then increase a little bit. Let's see. Okay. Holy moly. Goodness gracious. Okay, so it makes it vibrate a lot more. That's the first thing I can notice. What about the pommel? No, I'm not going to hit myself with the pommel because then everything, all oscillity would explode. So not a good idea. Okay, so the first thing I notice is probably, and of course I can't do it right because I'm doing it to myself. I would have to have someone, maybe I could ask my mum. Mama, I'm joking. I'm joking. But yeah, so one of the things I'm noticing, there is a difference when this, goodness, holy moly. Yeah, it vibrates differently. That's so interesting. Completely different. I mean, this still hurts. Don't get me wrong. This works as well. But for some reason, for crying out loud, this one does. It does make it vibrate differently. And I think, as I say, it's because of the fact that you have more mass towards that area because of the point of balance. So I hope that answers the question a little bit. That was actually fun. That was fun. Yeah. It's funny how some people sometimes say like, oh, but why? You're just hitting yourself so weakly. Oh, God, I don't want to kill myself. So thank you, Seek&So, for your $5. And so you were saying, let's see, Bukiya no One-san. Oh, so that's the channel you were recommending to me. Oh, thank you. Sorry, I misread that. Ever looked into supposed relationship between Rome and China? Okay. Very nice. 中国の日本以外、モンゴルと帝国の戦力の歴史。Very nice. など知らない。Okay, thank you. So I'll relationship between China and the Mongolian Empire, military power. I'll consider that. Thank you. Thank you for that. Hi Metatron, I'm into fencing. How now? Which modality do you recommend? I don't know what you mean by modality, so you'll have to explain it to me. Yeah. How would you, that's a very good question. How would you go about judging the quality of a reproduction made lorica segmentata? Well, the lorica segmentata needs, so first and foremost, it needs to be shaped to your body possibly. So generally speaking, if it looks like a cylinder, like this, not good. It needs to look a bit like this. Not too much, because it's not like medieval stuff that it's like this, but like wasp waist. But yeah, like if it looks like this and it looks like there's too much extra metal, then it's not well made. It needs to be, they need to have enough metal to cover you, but not too much metal hanging out. That's the first thing. Second thing, possibly the plates should be slightly, they shouldn't be completely flat. They should be slightly arced like this. So that's another thing that you can check. for a good replica. And again, Fabrica Cacti, they do a fantastic job. Check them out on Facebook. So yeah, I just lost my eyes. I apologize for that. Do I have knowledge about medieval Slavic warfare? No, not really. But I should probably look into it. Please make a video about Saint Seiya. I'll see what I can do. I'll see what I can do. That could be fun. It rings a bell. I felt that, someone said. Yeah, that was fun. And then he goes and hits himself in the helmet with a sword. Science! Yeah, for science. Oh my gosh, that's really funny. A bell on your head is a barbute. Absolutely, absolutely. Really funny. Okay, so let me just check very quickly that, because again, I don't. There you go. Rome or Japan, someone says. Yeah. Okay, so I would imagine we've been here for 2 hours, and I think that for today, that's good. And of course, I thank you all for being here and sticking with me for all this time. 441 people, considering the fact that it's been 2 hours, I'm actually quite impressed. So thank you so much for coming, and again, thanks to all and everyone who has contributed, whether with questions, with fun comments, or with their presence, and of course with the super chats. I really appreciate that. We got up to 251 euros, which means yes, I'm going to use that for either a shield or a good helmet. I'll let you know, and yeah, I'll make more of these because it was a lot of fun for me, and I hope that you enjoyed it too. And so thank you so much for your time, and I will see you on Wednesday for my next upload. Thank you very much for watching, and remember, the Metatron has spread his wings. Thank you, number ones. Ciao, ciao, ciao. Eat your pasta.